Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Brews and Reviews. It's Knowledge, and today I'm reviewing Che Noir's After 12, and I am sipping on a Carlsberg Elephant. That's from Copenhagen, Denmark, coming in at 7.2%. It's a Pilsner. This beer is smooth going down. It's smooth on the first pass, but it'll hit you later, much like lyrics. So let's get into it. Che Noir, After 12, and I'm going to say it right now, she is the top new artist of the year of 2020. And if the Grammys were worth anything at all, which they're not, but she would have been in that Best New Artist category. Although the Grammys aren't as bad as usual this year in that Best New Artist category, they do have Chica and D-Smoke, so it's a little bit better than we've seen in the past, but the Grammys are still shit. Che Noir is on a different level of artistry, and she's having a breakout year from Juno, her collab with 38 Spesh, to her collab with Apollo Brown, As God Intended, a damn near perfect album, and possibly my AOTY. I'll have my top 10 list of the year out pretty soon, and that will be near the top, if not the top. From the storytelling, to the rhyme schemes, to the metaphors, to the grimy beats, it was all there, and it made me very excited to hear this EP drop. So she worked with 38 Spesh. She's worked with Apollo Brown. So which great producer did she choose to work with on this EP? Hold on, let me look it up. That producer's name is Che Noir. This is self-produced. So we already know that she can rhyme. We know she can spit, but can she hold it down with the beats? Let's see. Let's get into it. Foxy's intro. When I looked at the track list, I naively thought that this was going to be Foxy Brown, the rapper, but it's actually Foxy Brown, the blaxploitation character, of course, and a sample from one of the Foxy Brown movies, which is actually even better than featuring the rapper because it samples some of that cold dialogue that she had on those movies to get us prepared to hear this cold MC. Cruise Control. She answers all questions about her production immediately because this is a very well-produced track with some multi-layered vocal samples and reverbed voices going on over a dark beat. And she comes out swinging lyrically after talking about the moves that she's making this year and how some people are still asleep. She says, "But I let them sleep because underneath sheets is where death breed, and opinions from a hater could never affect me." We still see the Nas influence that we saw on As God Intended, with her pretty much rehashing the line, sleep is the cousin of death, but she's making her own way as she out-Nas'd Nas this year. After the chorus from the Musalini, all kinds of wordplay and figurative language ensue. From Che's next verse, she says, "I'm the best with skills, my quest to kill. Daily shootouts, my hood is like a Western film. On a race for the finish line, I sweat up hills. I could take a nap, them bitches wouldn't catch up still." Through the rest of the track, she further explains her drive and how she's going to be successful independently, and she doesn't need a label. In fact, she purposely shows up late to meetings with labels because she despises them so much. And this is the perfect track to serve as a follow-up to As God Intended because it had everything that we loved from that album and her rhyme schemes and flows and lyrics, but also introduces us to her stellar production. Hunger Games, featuring 38 Spesh and Ransom, who also released a pretty good album this year. Check out Director's Cut Scene 3 if you haven't already. That's a great listen. Don't sleep on it. On this track, they're talking about the Hunger Games, and the hunger is what drives them, and they don't need a label to be successful, but at the same time, they gotta eat. They don't want to always be hungry. They gotta get paid for this art that they're putting out into the world. There's more dark, spooky production production with more reverbed vocal samples and some low keys with a hard, punchy beat. And more great wordplay from Che, from juxtapositioning opposing concepts when she says, cooking angel's dust up in hell's kitchen, to ill metaphors when she says, pass out paper like a school assignment. And no chorus, just bars as the MCs go back to back. And not to be outdone, Ransom comes in with plenty of lines and also adds creative ways to say that you need to pay this man for his art. And he says, I used to want to be Hove until I was told Mockingjay could lead to some Hunger Games. And all my verses are C-sected, you gotta feed us. You gotta think about that one for a minute. All my verses are C-sected, you gotta feed us. And 38 Spesh rounds it all out, letting us know that he doesn't need a label. He says, my way made me a millionaire without getting airplay. Reasons. She smooths the production out a little bit here with a thick bass line and a soulful sample. And this one features Jynx, who has an adequate verse, but it's Che, again, holding it down lyrically. After playing off his track, My Downfall, she's even bold enough to compare herself to Biggie, but in a unique way. She's got to explain it. She says, I'm like Biggie in the 90s, first let me explain. Married to the game, took a risk, then I stepped out on faith. Layers. Biggie cheated on his wife, Faith Evans, but Che stepped out. She had faith in herself and nothing but that, and stepped out to be successful in the rap game. Divine Knowledge. At this point in the EP, it's safe to say that she has the mark of a good producer, a signature sound, because she continues to chop up eerie vocal samples and she puts that over a hard bass line. And this one may be my favorite beat because she adds elements to it throughout the entire track. And the chorus really got me. She says, cruise the city and get lost in the beat. Windows tinted, I think better when it's harder to see. I can see it. She was probably really just driving around listening to this instrumental that she created, thinking of these lyrics and how chill the whole vibe was off of this beat. And this really makes me want to get in the whip and play this song. Of course, I'll have to wait until tomorrow to do that. But I'm definitely having that experience with this track tomorrow because that's what it was made for. That's how she wrote it, and that's how you need to hear it. Moment in the Sun. And this is the one that I was very excited to hear when I saw the track list because it features Sa-Roc, who also put out a top 10 album this year in The Sharecropper's Daughter. And Che brings a little levity and emotion to her usual hype bars. She says, sometimes I feel like God is playing frisbee with my soul, because I got friends that I grew up with that didn't get to be this old. Dead bodies on my temple, that's a side you ain't heard of. Some lost their innocence to sex, I lost mine to murder. It gets even deeper as she talks about loopholes in the Constitution becoming nooses. And that's really the hardest metaphor on the entire album right there. RJ Payne comes in with all kinds of energy, varying up the flow. And he touches on everything in his verse from Trump to COVID to the police killing more black people. And here's how we know Che's not playing around with the beats. She's not some amateur. She's not some rapper just getting her feet wet with production, just learning some new software to get this down. No, she's got some experience. She shows what she can do with the beats as she changes it up when Sa-Roc comes on. She knows how to highlight the best out of her guest star, and she drops the snares completely and goes with some really good piano work for Sa-Roc to spit over. And that highlights Sa-Roc's great lines when she says, from the land where hope abandoned us, left us with no manual. we made our way and turned a broken dream to something tangible. All three of these MCs have very different ways of spitting, and I love how it all comes together to create variety with the different types of flow, but to stick to the same subject matter and concept of justice for Black Americans. Grace, although the production is similar to other tracks on this EP with vocal samples and so forth, this is a very different sounding track than we've heard from Che on this or on any of her previous projects. I think that's mostly due to the inspirational power voice of her guest star Amber Simone. And that's not usually my favorite style of track or structure for a song, but this one still works because it is still Che Noir lyrically, and she doesn't change anything about that. So this does feel a bit like a push for wider appeal or going into a different audience than Che Noir may have captured already. I still like this track. Shea Butter Queen did it. She proved that she can follow up a classic, yeah, I said classic album with more consistent rhymes. And even better, she proved that she can do her own production and have her own sound there that doesn't take away from what she's doing lyrically. And lyrically, all of the elements that we heard on As God Intended are present on After 12. She will be in elite conversations before you know it. She will be putting out good content for a long time. And I do appreciate with this one that she didn't make it a deluxe version of As God Intended. She was going for a completely different sound with the music, but lyrically she was still keeping us engaged with what we have come to know her to be able to do. I'm giving this project a 9 out of a 12 pack, a great showing with only 6 tracks to do it. And Che Noir, revise your list, Grammys. Give her a Grammy, Best New Artist. Calling it right now. Give it to her. Thank you for watching my review of Che Noir's After 12. If you like this, go ahead and hit like now and hit me up in the comments. Also, subscribe to my channel. The link's popping up right now. I drop hip-hop and hops related content consistently. So until I see you next time, keep buzzing.